You've likely been told the US dollar is powerful because it's backed by gold. Charming idea, truly. But it's also about 50 years out of date. What? Then there's the other explanation, that its strength comes entirely from Washington's, shall we say, enthusiastic military presence. Closer to the mark, but still not the full picture. Because the real secret to global dominance doesn't live in the vaults of Fort Knox. No, it lives in a parched desert, among a herd of thirsty camels, and a rather stubborn merchant who politely refuses to accept your gold. Welcome to the desert of the global economy, a place where every nation is frantically hoarding little green canteens just to stay alive. Why? I'm Finance Bear. Let's uncover the cleverest magic trick of the 20th century. Imagine oil is the water of this desert. No water? Your engines stop. Your factories fall silent. Your economy quietly expires. Now, picture yourself arriving at the only major watering hole. You've brought your finest goods, textiles, high-tech gadgets, even solid gold bars. Very impressive. The merchant looks at your treasures, gives a little shrug and says, "Terribly sorry, mate. We only accept payment in green canteens." Those green canteens? US dollars. And just like that, you've walked straight into the petrodollar system, a brilliantly designed trap. If you want energy, you need dollars. And to get dollars, you must sell your nation's labor, your resources, often quite cheaply, to the Americans, all in exchange for paper notes, featuring rather serious-looking, deceased presidents. Let's nip back to 1974. The world was reeling from an oil crisis, and the US realized something rather awkward. They didn't have enough gold to justify the mountain of money they were printing. They needed a new anchor. Enter Saudi Arabia. They sat on vast oceans of water, but they had a rather delicate concern: survival. Just across the Gulf sat Iran, a bold, unpredictable neighbor looming over the Strait of Hormuz. A choke point, so narrow that if someone blocks it, the world's energy flow stops, and the entire planet starts gasping for air by Tuesday. So, America made Saudi an offer they couldn't refuse. "We'll be your warden. We'll protect your throne and keep the water flowing with our rather shiny jets. In return, you sell your oil exclusively in US dollars." Deal struck. And once the Saudi big brother nodded, the rest of the oil-producing world quietly followed suit. America didn't just buy oil, they put a padlock on the world's energy supply and kept the key for themselves. From that moment on, the US gained what's known as exorbitant privilege. They could print paper out of thin air and use it to buy real, tangible goods from everyone else. Because the whole world needed green canteens to buy oil, demand for the dollar became endless. Inflation? Not entirely Washington's problem. They simply exported it abroad. Every time you fill your car or a cargo ship sets sail, you are, in a rather roundabout way, contributing to the American system. The lesson is simple. To dominate the desert, you don't need to own the camels. You just need to control what the camels thirst for. But deserts change. And the green canteen? Well, it's starting to look a bit scuffed. Lately, travelers have been carrying different colors. Why the sudden shift? First, trust. The dollar was once seen as a neutral tool, clean, dependable, untouchable. But when it's used to freeze assets or quietly squeeze enemies, others start to wonder, what if the warden decides to lock my canteen next? Second, new power players. China is now the world's biggest oil buyer, and in business, the biggest customer usually gets a say. If China says, "I'll buy your water, but I'm paying in red canteens, Yuan," the merchants can't exactly ignore them. Third, technology. Green energy and EVs are slowly curing the world's thirst for oil. And when water isn't the only thing keeping you alive, the system built in 1974 starts to wobble. We're drifting from a single-pole monopoly to a multipolar world. And the real question isn't if the dollar disappears, it's whether its absolute rule is coming to a quiet, dusty end. So, where does that leave you, a small traveler, in an unpredictable desert? 1. Don't keep all your water in one canteen. Diversification isn't just clever anymore, it's survival. Gold, strong alternative currencies, even digital assets. These are your backup canteens. 2. Watch the energy flow. The world is shifting from rigs to renewables. Those who control the next form of water will shape the future. So invest in the technology of tomorrow, not just the fossils of yesterday. Finally, your greatest asset isn't what you hold, it's understanding the rules of the game. Deserts are harsh, but they reward those who can see through the mirage. There's far more beneath the surface than one video can cover. So, if you fancy diving deeper into the hidden mechanics of our world, give us a like, subscribe, and tell me your thoughts below. Let's see how many travelers are actually paying attention. Cheers.